Hello everybody, this is Miss Nancy from the Clearview Library District, and I'm here for Clearview's Homeschooler Academy, and this month we are doing Weave Your Own Holiday Gifts. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how to do the weaving that's in your kit. The instructions are better than what I can do because weaving is a slow, very relaxing process. And if you had to watch me go all the way through it, you would probably fall asleep. So you will find that I might be able to show you a couple little tricks that will help you, but the instructions are excellent. Okay? So when you're weaving, there's a lot of different things you can make when you weave, and we'll show you several different things. In your kit, you will find 5 different colors of yarn. There should be a large needle. Okay, you will find instructions. You will find 3 straws, drinking straws. They're wrapped. I've already unwrapped them. Okay, and you will find a bowl and a cup. Okay, so lots of different things, lots of different projects you can try. Okay, now the original project, which is weaving with a cardboard loom, is from Creative Bugs, which is one of our databases that you have access to with your library card. So you might want to look at that and look at the instructions that they give you also. You might do Google searches of kids weaving crafts, woven bracelets, woven wall art. You can get lots of inspiration and get different ideas by looking online. Pinterest has a lot of really good projects. If you look on Pinterest, you might try weaving for kids. You could try weaving bracelets again, woven bowls, woven cups, those kinds of things, and you'll see a lot of good ideas. Okay, now we're going to start with showing you the things that you need to have at home that are not in your kit. Okay, so you need some cardboard. Okay, and there's lots of boxes around, so I'm sure you'll be able to find a piece of cardboard in your recycling. You'll want scissors, and you'll want some tape. Okay, so those are the things that you need to make sure you have before you get started. Okay, now the weaving project to start with starts with this piece of cardboard. So that you can see what I'm doing with my hands better, I'm going to flip my computer over so that the camera is pointing down at the table, and then I will show you how to get started. Thank you. Okay, there we go. There's a piece of cardboard. This is a fairly large piece of cardboard, so it's going to make a fairly large piece of woven material when it's done. You might want to go a little bit smaller. If you go smaller, let's cut this in half and see how we do. Guys, if you need help when you're cutting, ask the adult at your house, because cardboard is not one of the easier things to cut, okay? Okay, so now we have a little bit smaller piece of cardboard. Now, if you look at this, this means that your piece, when it's finished, is going to be about that big, which could be the size of a coaster. So that might be a nice size to start with. You're going to make cuts on the end, like this. Make them the same distance apart, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do 6, okay? Now, when you get to the other side of the cardboard, you want to make sure that your cuts that you make on this side are just exactly across the cardboard from what you have on the other side. Now, you might want to mark these with a ruler or a piece of paper. You could make lines on a piece of paper and then lay it on and mark it so that you're sure that the lines line up from side to side. Okay? Okay, so that's how you get your first loom ready. Now I'm going to show you the one that I'm working on because it took a while to get to this point. I don't want you to have to sit there and watch. So the first thing you do with this loom is you're going to put these strings on, okay? And all they are is pieces of yarn that are taped to the back. Push through those little slits you made, come across, bring them back and tape them on the other side. You want them to be nice and tight, okay? You want them taped really well on the back, and you want to leave enough yarn here so that you'll have something to tie off when you're done, okay? So that's how you set up your loom. Now I have started to weave with this one, and I have 2 colors, and I just started with some gold. There's a couple different ways you can do this as far as these extra strings that you end up with when you're weaving, when you switch colors. Now, if you don't switch colors, you won't have those, okay? So you need to think about, well, do I want to switch colors or do I want to leave it that way? If you leave them and want to switch colors, just leave those strings either hanging off the side when you switch colors or knot your 2 colors together and just keep going. When you're finished, you will be able to poke this, and when you've taken it off the cardboard, you can poke it and move it to the back and just snip it a little closer. No one will ever see it. Okay? Now, your needle, let me throw this out on the table so I can find my needle, I think really helps with weaving, but you don't have to use a needle. The needle might help you and it might not. But see, if you don't want to use the needle, you just go under and then over this one and then under this one, over this one, under this one, and over the end, okay? And then push it up, go under, over, under, over, under, and over the end, okay? Pull the tail out. So you can do that with or without the needle, whatever you feel the most comfortable with, okay? And you're just going to keep weaving back and forth. Push it up as you go so it gets nice and tight up here, okay? And work it all the way down until you just can't go any farther, okay? Then you can follow the instructions in your packet. It shows you some really good ways to take it off. It'll show you how to tie off these ends or push this to the back side. Just take these off and tie them together, and that'll end up your project with both ends, and you can have a little bit of a fringe or tassels or whatever you want. Okay, so that's your first kind of weaving, and it's probably the simplest one, but you can make some really cool projects with this. If you look up woven wall art, you will see pieces of weaving about this size, and they've threaded a twig through the top and then a string to hang it with. And they've put buttons or feathers or bows, just all kinds of fun stuff threaded through the yarn. And you can hang it on the wall. So do look at some pictures and get some ideas of what you want your project to look like at the end. Okay? Now, there also are 3 straws, and this is my started straw weaving. When I did this weaving with the straws, I started with 3 straws, and I'm going to tape them to the table on one end, okay? Well, I'm going to back up a little bit. I got my tape ready, but I found that it was kind of cool to thread the yarn through the straws. And I'm sorry, I don't have incredibly good eyesight, so it's hard for me to see that. But see, you can see how easy it is to thread it through. And I'm just going to keep threading that. Okay, how far am I now? There, I'm almost there. Now, if you have one of the smaller needles, those needles that are in your kits are different sizes. Some of those needles will fit through here and some of them won't. So you'll just have to see if your needle's one of them that will fit through. There we go. Okay, I have a good long piece of yarn there and a good long piece of yarn on this side. I'm going to snip it off. This will make a bookmark, and it's a pretty cool bookmark. I think I want to make sure I make one of these for myself. Okay, thread it through again. Now this was one of the projects that was on Pinterest, and if you look at the last page, in your directions, you will see some pictures. So if you decide to look on Pinterest to get inspiration, you will find some of the projects that I have pictures of on that last page. And you can look into them more and see what you think. Okay, there's two. How about dark blue for my last one? Okay, I'm going to thread them through. Whoa, maybe. Okay. Now I'm sorry that I only gave you 3 straws in your kit, but if you want to make bookmarks for several people, I know that you will be able to find some straws. So you can go get some more straws and you can make a lot of these bookmarks and they're really cool. Okay, I'm almost there. Can you see it almost to the other end? There we go. Okay, I'm gonna lay it down. I'm gonna make sure I have plenty of length on both ends. Okay, so then I'm going to take these, try to make sure they're all about the same length, but it doesn't matter too much. And I'm going to tape this to my table. Okay, just like that for just a minute. And then I'm going to take these and I'm going to tie a knot in them. Make sure you get all 3 of them and make a knot. Make sure you don't pull them too much because you want to make sure that you still leave the yarn on the other end too. Okay, so there's that. And I check down here. Oh, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm just going to tighten it up. Tighten each one of your pieces of yarn one at a time so that you get this knot nice and tight. Okay, does that look pretty good? Okay, then I'm going to pick up my tape. I'm going to make sure that my straws are all pulled clear up to the top. Okay, and I'm going to tape just the very tip of the straw. Whoa, look at what I did. Did you see that? I almost pulled it out. Let's try it again. Keep those straight. Just a little bit of the straws and the strings. Okay, they're hooked up here. Hopefully you can see that. And I can tug these and they come down nice. So we're good. And then you can take any of your colors of yarn that you want. And you can thread them in. Get yourself a nice piece. I find that if I'm going to change colors, I don't want to go a real long piece of string because it gives me so much to have to pull through. So I don't make my yarn real long. Okay, I made this one about that long. You do need to leave a tail and make sure that it doesn't get stuck in your weaving. So you want to make sure you get it out. This one is an up and down. Okay. And you might find you do better without your needle on this, but you might like having the needle. Then you go around, and you're going over the middle and under, okay? See how that goes? Okay, so I'd like to pull that through more because look at how much yarn I wasted over there. So let's pull through a little bit. Does that look good? Tighten it up. Okay, and then I'm going to go over, under, over, pull it up, and under, over, under. Whoops, did you see that? Under, over, under. See, this one might be easier without the needle. Over, under, over. And see how fast that goes? Now, while you're doing it, I want you to make sure you're pushing it up so it stays nice and tight at the top. When you're done, you will be able to thread this piece down into your bookmark just like you do with your cardboard loom from the instructions. Okay? So have fun with that one. This is the one I think is the most fun. You also have a bowl, and if you take this bowl and cut it like I did, then you can just weave in and out and in and out of this and cover a bowl with yarn or a cup with yarn by cutting down the sides. So give those a try and see how you do, okay? Now the last thing that is in your kit is a little handout from the Windsor Museum, the History Museum. And they did not have a Homeschoolers Day at the museum in December. They will again in January, so you can join them then. But take a look at that handout from them, and you can see how people that settled in Windsor, how they did weaving, and it's pretty interesting to see. So hope you have a really good time. I hope you take some time and look at some resources and some things on the internet to help you get an idea of what you want to do for your project. And then I hope you have a really good time making your projects. Give yourself a lot of time. It's very relaxing to do the weaving, but it does take a little bit of time. Okay, I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday. I hope you make lots of cool gifts, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again in January after the holidays. Bye-bye.